guys, this is your favorite Russian talking, and I'm gonna talk about the strategy we use. The tournament will begin in about roughly 30 seconds, so I wanna just tell you what we brainstormed. So what we did is we actually did something very offensive. We had one of our guys go to Trebuchet for initial couple shootouts. We had two ongoing on the enemy mansion, enemy base team, and then we had a Guardian and Necromancer go in the middle. The very first thing I want to tell you is that Guardian and Necromancer has this most amazing synergy out of all I've seen so far. Guardian is very sturdy class. They are probably one of the best classes when it comes to fighting against the physical damage dealers, and because they have a lot of toughness unlike the armor. But what the Guardians are very weak against is actually the condition build. The conditions go through the armor, go through the toughness, and this is where Necromancer comes in play. The plague signet of the Necromancer is able to actually suck negative conditions out of the allies like Guardian and put it on the Necro. And then the Necro can actually put those conditions back on the enemy via number 4 on dagger offhand or a number 4 on the staff offhand and put it back on the enemies. The heal of a Necromancer also consumes all the conditions. So before you actually gonna be forced to use your plague signet, you can actually legitimately reflect and consume 3 rows of conditions. Anyway, I got the warrior feared out here, and I'm gonna go back here, and this mesmer out here popped his illusions. Illusions do a lot of damage, but focusing illusions is also really not a big spot. And we got a trebuchet here, a trebuchet stack. We didn't put anybody on a trebuchet because simply we kinda actually wanted to basically go for the 2 offensive ninja caps right off the start and actually force the enemy team to play more defensive and into our hand. So anyway, I'm gonna apply here AoE weakness on this warrior out here, and I'm just gonna apply the multiple conditions. I'm not gonna even stand in the middle for one particular reason, because there are a few trebuchet shots and I cannot afford actually taking a lot of trebuchet hits. I'm gonna snare this warrior, and basically because he let me just free shoot him with number 1 as a Necromancer, I did a lot of conditions on him, and my Guardian is gonna finish him off. At this point in time, I'm looking at the base, and we already ahead on about 35 points, and we captured 2 nodes, and there they're contesting them back. After we get the middle, the enemy was still sending a few trebuchet, but they were really not that major. But we do need to get away from it a little bit after we actually capture it, because we don't want to hit more trebuchet. Now, trebuchet is a very slow mechanic. It's actually really slow to put it on. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna jump down here really quickly twice. This guy is trying to go to a clock tower, and all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna snare him out here and apply a couple conditions, so when he actually gets into a fight, he will be roughly about 70% HP, making for my Guardian a little bit easier job to defending / assaulting. And they left the windmill completely unchecked, so this is my first actual ninja cap as a Necromancer. Ideally, Necromancer is not one of the best classes for a ninja cap, because the build that I'm running doesn't really have a good amount of sprints. And the only thing is viable is actually switching either your signet or your corrupted bone into another signet that gives you 10% increased speed. But that also is very risky thing to do, simply because that signet in a fight gonna get locked out, and you won't be able to actually transfer boons into negative conditions on your enemy. So you're basically limiting yourself with 1 utility. So as soon as we capture ninja capped windmill, I'm going back here and I'm gonna try to AoE fear, and I'm raising my ally here, and I got knocked back here. He's gonna try to capture him, and I'm part of the death shroud and fear the Guardian again. And the last trebuchet finished the job on the warrior, and we killed him because our trebuchet was firing here at the same time. So right now I actually prevented the kill on my Guardian, and at this point in time I'm actually looking forward onto this mesmer and not allowing him to ninja cap windmill. I applied a lot of conditions, and some of his illusions are on CDs, so he was forced to pop an ulti on me. And yeah, this ulti, by the way, is really incredibly strong. It's basically like an 8-10 second stun on yourself, and where during that time you cannot do anything. I think it's a strong cooldown. I wish that would actually give some skill to Moab Bird, where you would actually be able to do some damage. I mean, let's face it, you're not gonna have any healing, any utilities. At least I think it would be fair for more to do some damage or apply some of the conditions. So anyway, The Mesmer actually spammed on the top. I don't know how he managed to do that, so what I'm just gonna do is I'm gonna apply a lot of conditions. Sometimes it's actually a very viable strategy not to do anything with the enemy. If he's in a down state, let him stay in the down state. That's fine. He's gonna heal, great. Whatever difference does that make? Not really that much, because in a down state his damage, his potential is limited. So even sometimes you just letting your enemy sit in a down state, you basically negating the enemy team of one player if you use it correctly. So anyway, Guardian went on me, I popped the Death Shroud, I feared him, and I'm using a number 4 with a staff that applies a lot of bleeds. Then I switched to a staff, applied another AoE bleed here, popped another one which is number 2 on my staff, and basically gonna try to fear him, and he dodged one of my marks, and the warrior is already at such a low percentage that it actually doesn't really matter at this point. Whatever I'm gonna do, I just swapped to a staff, applied a few bleeds on him, and he's gonna go down like a freaking cracker, my friends. He did get rid of the conditions, but it's not enough. One thing I'm gonna let you know, guys, know that the protection warriors are really pain in the ass to deal. With all the lockouts and everything, they can actually survive for a good amount of time. This is why I actually had some sort of a hard time killing the guy, even at the low down state. Now I see my friends trying to finish him, and I try to do it at the second time as well, because the warrior can just knock you down here. I'm gonna pop my heal because one Mongoloid is chasing me really here, and I'm gonna pop my 2 and snare the guy. And this rock dog, I freaking hate that, man. The freaking pet just doggy, woof woof, bark bark, following you around and just gnawing the living shit out of you. It's annoying as hell. Anyway, at this point in time, this is my second ninja cap here, because there's nobody at the mansion, and their rogue is getting on me. So I went to the shrouded form, applied the weakness on him, I feared him, and I chilled him at the same time. Now he's gonna be here somewhere in this, so I tried to apply another weakness on him. I popped my spectral armor just for an extra protection and build some light force. And the rogues are very difficult class. They're one of those classes where if they start fighting you at the full HP, the Heartseeker rogues, they're not gonna be as amazing. But if they're gonna be fighting you with like literally half HP left, they will global the shit out of you by just Heartseeker spamming. And then what almost happened here, the rogue got me down to like 900 HP from full HP, but I think I actually did a decent job at defending and dodging his shit. Right now I see this guy trying to run away from him. I popped the mark in front of him, but I a little bit overestimated here, so the mark didn't hit him. But I did hit him with my number 2, which is Desecrated Ground. That also snares the guy. And right now this Mesmer is trying to vanish and run ahead. So, but I saw the numbers ticking at him, my blitz. So I just finished the job here with my blitz. Number 1 spamming. So the Mesmers are one of the tricky classes to figure out how to kill, but in all honesty, you can easily figure out how to kill him and when to kill him only simply by actually just realizing, okay, the Mesmer just vanished. What would be the ideal place for the Mesmer to be at right now? So right now the rogue is contesting and he's fighting my ranger, and my ranger is low. So what I have to do is I have to do a very good job at peeling. Necromancers are actually pretty damn good at peeling, and the rogue is spamming Invis, so I had to actually just apply some weaknesses and some bleeds on him. The rogue actually died from the bleeds of my ranger here. Okay, he vanished, blah blah blah, not very interesting. He tries to vanish here again, and I killed him through his vanish by finishing him off. It's actually a very easy thing to do. And now their Mesmer came in back in. He's gonna spam a lot of illusions, and illusion Mesmers do a lot of damage. So what you need to do is you need to be very good with your spectral armor, from what I understand. Once he pops his berserker, you have to go with spectral armor basically right off the start, because the shit does, their illusionary berserker, illusionary warriors just do so much damage. And right now I got stoned, which is a mini stun, and basically globaled by the enemy rogue from almost 100%. Because he popped every single possible thing that he could. I feared him, and the fear pass actually got him on a lower bridge, letting my ranger to actually top me off. And the rogue here again just did a couple of Heartseeker spams and killed me again. So I'm in a down state right now. I'm trying to number 1 heal myself, and my ranger won't be able to, I think, top me off. But I still managed to get a kill on the rogue because of the passive damage. Now, I'm not gonna be able to win this simply because they have a lot of damage going on here, and we basically lost the mansion. But because me and Ranger were able to defend the mansion for a good about like 2 to 3 minutes, our scoring jumped from being dead even with the enemy team to a winning by roughly about 200 points, just because they had to send a Ranger, a Mesmer, a Rogue, and I believe one more person. Actually, I think 2 rogues and 2 thieves. My bad, I keep calling them thieves. I hate rogues. But anyway, they had to send 2 thieves and the Mesmer, 3 against 2. They hold out for such a long time trying to actually capture the mansion back that the points that we accumulated from capturing Windmill and the Clock Tower did the job here. And this is what I kind of understand about this game right now. It looks like the offensiveness on the enemy team what wins the game. If your enemy is spending a lot of time trying to recapture the node, then you practically win. And this rogue vanished right now, and I kind of understood where he was going through, so I basically shadow step. And let me just heal, because I think this is one of actually sort of like a good fight me against the thief, because he's actually was able to almost down me here in a couple instances. And I'm gonna try to follow him here, which was not the most smartest idea, because there was a warrior who tried to stun me, and the thief is gonna come in at the very end and just basically gonna global me here with his Heartseeker spam. I don't think thieves are overpowered. I just baffled how easy it is to actually be effective at thief. Look at this, 5 hits on the Heartseeker did 16k damage on me, and that is also a gap closer, so it's very hard to dodge. Now, from what I've understand, how to effectively actually counter Heartseeker is you have to let the thief to do 2 Heartseekers to you before you start dodging. 2 to 3 Heartseekers, because they're not gonna do as much damage, because Heartseeker does damage based on how much percentage of HP you're missing. So dodge the 2 or 3, let him hit 2 or 3 Heartseekers in the beginning. Dodge the rest of them, and once he's out of initiate, then he's basically a dead man. Anyway guys, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any comments, please leave it in below, and I read them, I'll give you my promise. Thank you for watching, my friends, and до свидания.